right, it is 6 o'clock, so I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order.
Roger?
Yes.
Tiffany?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
All 7 are present.
In front of you, you all have the approval and adoption. You have the agenda. I need approval and adoption of the agenda, please.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Roger Bridgman, seconded by Jennifer Moreland to approve and adopt the agenda as presented. Tiffany?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
7 yes.
So the first item on the on the agenda is our audit report, and I think if technology cooperates with me, Ken Schultz is on the line with us, and so Dr. Davidson or
Yes. So we have Ken Schultz as our auditor, so he did the 22-23 school year, and he's here to report out on that. Ken, can you hear us? We can. Let me try one more thing here.
That classic audits and wit.
Ken, try it again.
Can you hear me? 1, 2, 3.
Very loud and very clear.
Yes.
All right. We have about a 2-second gap here, so I'll be talking over myself.
Oh, there you go. Go ahead.
Okay, hello everyone, and Merry Christmas to everybody, and I'll make this kind of quick. Pages 1 to 3 of the audit report gives you an opinion of the financial statements are fairly stated in accordance with the cash basis of accounting, which is basically checkbook accounting where cash receipts are recognized as revenues when received and expenditures are recorded as expenses when paid. That's different than accrual basis of accounting, in which case you accrue based upon the respective time periods in which revenues are earned and expenditures are incurred. But it's good to get a clean opinion, and that's what the goal is for the auditee, and we're happy to be able to deliver that to you guys. There's a few pages I want to go over. On pages 13 and 14 is the statement of revenues and expenditures by fund, and it compares the 2 years, fiscal year 2023 on page 13, and on page 14 is your 2022 fiscal year. And you'll see that on page 13 that overall revenues collected are up $646,000 over the year before, and a lot of that increase was in local and federal. Local was up $1,163,000. State was up $383,000, but federal was down $981,000. Also, capital project money was up $646,000 from the year before. Also on that page, on page 13, you'll see that expenditures were up $1,160,000 over 2022, with the capital projects spending another $689,000 more than what was spent in 2022. Overall, capital projects expenditures were $689,000 in the last 2 years. No, that's not correct. $2.2 million in the last 2 years. And the general fund was up $866,000 in terms of being in the black. So from this standpoint, both years were in the black. $1,226,000 in 2023 and $1,740,000 in 2022. I'd like to have you look at page 20, 21, and 22. That's the description of your long-term debt. Long-term debt is not recorded as a liability on the financial statements because you are the cash basis of accounting. What is recorded are expenditures paid for debt service and revenues when bond proceeds and loan proceeds are received. But on page 21 at the top, you'll see the different notes and obligation bonds you have. You'll see that basically we have 2 obligation bonds outstanding with at the end of June 30th, 2023, $975,000. On the series 2013 bonds, $2,890,000 on the 2017 bonds. And then we have an HVAC note of $221,000 remaining. So overall, you'll see below that the annual requirements to debt service that debt, and it averages out to be between $640,000 and $702,000 a year through year 2030, and then you'll be debt free at that point in time, assuming no other debt is incurred. On page 22, you'll see that there is a constitutional debt limit on how much the district can borrow, and your legal debt margin at this point is about $19.4 million in case you need to go in to get other general obligation debt. I'd like to skip now to pages 35 and 36, and that is your net pension liabilities for the 2 defined benefit plans that the district is required to be involved in. The PSRS plan, which is your certified teachers pension liability, is on page 35. And on page 36 is the peers, or the non-certificated employees, non-classified employees. You're classified employees. And anyway, you'll see that in 2022, your net pension liability for the PSRS plan is $9,087,000, and in 2020, and on page 36 for the peers plan, it's $929,000. Now, last year they did a reforecast of assumptions. Every 5 years they do an actuarial study. And you'll see that they dropped that liability from $11,200,000 at the end of 2020 down to $2.7 million. And I thought that was pretty strange why they did it, and didn't understand why they would, except for being fairly optimistic about their assumptions, because this year they brought it back up to $9,087,000. You'll see on the peers plan, it also went from $124,000 back up to $929,000. So I think that's more realistic in terms of what the overall debt is on an actuarial basis for those plans. The good news is that you'll look at the far right column, you'll see that both plans have more than 86% coverage in the plan for the liability, 86.04 for the PSRS plan, and 87.92 for the peers plan. Also like to point out page 37 and 38, that is your revenues collected by source, and they compare the 2 years, 2023 and 2022, and it kind of gives you an idea of what happened in terms of your revenue sources for the 2 years. And you'll see that local money was up $1 million. From $8,184,000 up to $7,021,000, so it's up about $1,060,000. And the county revenue is up about $97,000. The state revenue is up $383,000. Transportation's up significantly from $542,000 from $188,000 the year before. And this is the first time in like the last 10 to 12 years, as I can recall, that they fully funded the transportation number. Typically that's been as low as 30%. So whether or not that will continue remains to be seen. The teacher baseline grant is due this year, also in your state revenue number. it's at $48,912 for 2023. On page 38 is your federal revenues, and there you'll see that basically your federal revenues went down $598,000. Excuse me, that's not right either. Went down approximately $900,000 of the year before. And contracted educational services also dropped $16,000. I believe that could be a timing difference as to when those receipts are received. If you look at page 58, the very last page, that gives you a 10-year look back, which I like to put in audited statements to let you know what's been happening and what kind of trends are happening for the district. You'll see that your fund balances are at the end of 2023 are $11,037,000. And if you go review that over the last 10 years, you haven't been that high since 2014. But at that point in time, you had some general obligation money that hadn't been spent at that point in time. So I think your 11 million is more realistic as being the highest fund balance you've had over the last 10 years. Your revenues collected is also the highest it's been at 17 million. And your revenues collected over expenditures, which is basically budgeting in the black. You're at $1,226,000 this year, $1,740,000 last year, and $1,065,000 in 2021. So you've had 3 years being in the black in fairly healthy numbers. So pandemic numbers have helped you to be fiscally responsible. So you should be congratulated on that. Long-term debt outstanding is also scheduled debt service payments. And you'll see that this is the lowest your debt has been in the past 10 years. You're at $4,086,000. And let's see, your assessed valuation has been averaging about a 3.2% increase over the last 10 years. Your ADA and September resident membership, I kind of compared that over the prior 9 years, and you're down about 8% overall in ADA over 9% over this year's number of 1221 versus an average about 1326. So you have lost some kids in the trend. You were at a high of 1495 for ADA back in 2015. And then finally, the last schedule item is the operating fund balance expenditure ratio. And you're at 5228, which is the highest it's been. This is the ratio that DESE looks at to see how healthy a school district is. They believe that 16 to 17% represents a healthy ratio, which is only about 6 weeks worth of cash flow staying in business for Fund 1 and Fund 2. I think it needs to be more like 30 to 34%, and 5228 is the highest it's been in the last 10 years, with a 9-year average of about 44.7 overall. So that may tweak down a little as the pandemic money won't be coming in as like it did in previous years. Scott, I don't know if you have any ESSER money yet to draw in 24.
24 now. We're drawing everything ESSER 3 this year, so it'll be finalized this year.
So that ratio may drop a little and come back to your more normal numbers of being in the 40s. Otherwise, the audit went well. Got in, got out in about 2 full days for 3 of us, and had good support and help from Scott and his staff, and we really appreciate you guys as clients. What questions do you have?
I'm seeing none. time, Ken, so we appreciate it, and it's a pleasure working with you, and have a Merry Christmas.
All right, thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Ken.
Take care.
So in moving forward, I need a motion that, the 2023 audit report be approved as presented, please.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Motion by, oh, sorry.
Any questions, any concerns? Angela?
Motion by Tiffany Dickens, seconded by Lisa Elrod, that the 2023 audit report be approved as presented. Lisa?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Tiffany?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
7 yes.
I also need to move that the 2022-2023 ASBR report be approved as presented.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Sherry Schutte, seconded by Lisa Elrod, that the 2022-2023 ASBR report be approved as presented.
Any questions, any concerns? Angela?
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Tiffany?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
7 yes.
Next item on our agenda this evening is board norms. And for December, I would like to remind everybody that we will expect board members to make a commitment and that we will work together as a board that values the consensus rather than the majority vote. With that being said, if I could ask everybody in the room and follow me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Next item is board recognition, and I'm going to turn the floor over to Roger.
Well, we don't have any recognition this month. However, I'd like to take this time to say thank you to Sierra. This is her last meeting with us. She has been a huge asset to the board this year with her reports and the connection that she's made and with the school and giving information back to us. I think she's done an amazing job. I wanted to give her a shout out for that. And you do have to come back in January because we actually will recognize you there as recognition and give you a little trinket from the board. On behalf of all of us, we want to say thank you for your dedication and your hard work. And you've truly been an asset this year. You've done a wonderful job.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I look forward to coming back in January.
All right. Good.
Next item is citizens' participation, in which the board has, I better read this so I don't mess it up. 30 minutes has been allotted to the residents of the school district and staff to give the board an opportunity. I have to shrink this down now because it's wrapped off the page. I'm like, where's it going there? I'll just start over. 30 minutes has been allotted to residents of the school district and staff to give the board the opportunity to listen to citizens. Remarks will be limited to 3 minutes and 1 appearance, thus allowing for a maximum number of participants in the allotted time in which citizens are allowed to speak to issues. Just a reminder that questions directed to the board may not always be answered immediately. I do have 3 people listed on my citizens participation. I'd like to start off with Mr. Joe Cross.
Hey guys, just wanted to start off. I really appreciate the work that you guys do. It is a zero-paid job for a lot of stress, so we completely understand that it's a big task. One to talk to you tonight just on behalf of the elementary. You know, in regards to the assistant elementary principal position, you know, the last few months, I think that we've all witnessed kind of, you know, when there are tense moments, you know, rather than kind of calming down, taking a cool head, it turns into more of a hollering and a tough thing. And talking with the elementary, we just want to send me as a mouthpiece, because obviously we pick the person that talks the most, whether it's not any sense or not, to kind of speak on the behalf of my folks, okay? Overwhelmingly, it is a very popular position in the elementary. And full disclosure, I know several folks got a little upset, myself included. I had a lot of really good conversations, a lot of really good talking, and just want to express that for us, it really is an important position, and while we obviously will respect any decision that's made one way or another, we would really appreciate just a seat at the table when, if any decision or discussion is had on it, just to kind of see why we think it's so important. Full disclosure, my last 2 APs had to take a pay cut to come to that position, and part of why you do that is so you get the word principal next to your name, and it's a big deal to us, you know. I'm not going to go into a bunch of stats, but just 2 things to give credit to my staff and credit to Dr. Williams and the position itself. In the past several years, we've had no more than 98% of kids that have had 1 or 0 majors on the years. Now, my teachers get a huge credit for that because they're rock stars. But part of that is that we have a person in place that can immediately and effectively go handle discipline, even if it's tiny stuff, because with a 5-year-old, sometimes you just need a little chewing and move on and not have a whole thing. And the second thing to bring up is longitudinally, we've had some pretty decent test scores compared to those in the region, and that's not to my doing. Once again, we've got great test scores from our teachers, but that instructional leadership piece from the assistant principals is just as valuable as when I try to go in and help. So while we respect any decision, and we will obviously be polite and respectful throughout the process, and we talk about that as a building, but we really do hope that in that decision-making process, if there's a decision to maybe discuss or go further down the road, to make sure that we, myself or perhaps some of my staff might be able to be part of that process. So once again, we appreciate everything you guys do, appreciate the situation you're in, and if anyone has any questions for me later on or throughout the week, I'd be happy to answer them. So thank you again.
Thank you, Joe. Next, Karen Hickey.
Hi everyone, thank you for hearing me out today. I emailed most of you about my issue with the attendance policy and how it doesn't give exception to excused absences, specifically for religious issues, but also for those kids who have to have surgery and who have to be gone for long absences. They're already being punished by having to go through that, and then they come back and those absences are held against them if there's too many. And then they either have to go to Saturday school or detention to make it up. They're already making up their work that they have to do. If they're keeping up with that work and they're being there for the majority of the time, I think that should be excused. But particularly, I'm here to talk about the religious issues. We attend a religious retreat every fall. It is not up to us when we go. It is appointed to us where we go, when we go. It is a 7-day feast with a holy day afterwards. And at the when we go, it could go over 2 weeks of school, which now with our 4-day school week, that could be 8 days. With us taking the work with you, we let the school know that we're going to be gone. We let everybody know. We make sure the kids get their work done. Everything gets done. But then when they come back, they have to make up these days. And I understand the importance of being in class. I've worked in the elementary, I've worked in the middle school, I've been a substitute. I'm now working with the Franklin County Co-op in the preschool. I understand the value of attendance, I do. But an attendance policy that doesn't allow for any exceptions whatsoever to the rule is kind of harsh. I was looking it up, and it seems to me like the Missouri state law leaves it up to the districts to decide the attendance policy, am I correct with that? I even tried to call Desi this morning, and that's what their automated system said, try the hierarchy. I've talked to Dr. Davidson twice now about it. I've read the policy, I've had the policy read to me, I understand the policy. I still think it is wrong. There should be exceptions. Most states, in their state law, have an exception. Texas, the September 23 edition of the Texas Education Agency Student Attendance Accounting Handbook cites that Texas Education Code, section 25.087, which orders public school to give excused absences to students observing religious holy days. The TEA handbook further explains that such students will be given excused absence for 1 day of travel time to and from their observance.
15 seconds.
It also goes a step further that they cannot be penalized for the college students. It shows that lawmakers think that our religious rights are important. And if you could keep that in mind, please. Thank you.
Crystal Hall, would you like to talk to us tonight?
Okay. The idea was given to me to talk tonight by Miss Meesey. I had emailed her this week to give a shout out for Miss Olson, who has done an exceptional job with my son this year. She has created a relationship with him. She has gone above and beyond what I think a normal teacher would do. And she's an exceptional teacher. So I kind of ran with that idea. Miss Davalos, I don't know if I'm saying that right, has also created a relationship with my older girls this year. She's done an amazing job. I wanted to give a shout out to her. I'm gonna go down the line. I know Emmons and Bailey have created relationships, and they are exceptional at what they do, and they should be commended for that. Miss Reeves, Miss Feeser, Miss Herwig, those are all people that stand out to me in the elementary. They do an exceptional job. They create relationships with their kids. They go above and beyond, and there are more, but those are the ones that really stand out to me. And then I think of others that were exceptional that have left us. We have several that have left us, and it's because we can't afford to stay. It's a major issue, and I'm afraid that we're going to continue to lose exceptional people in our district if we can't find a way to pay them. I'm really, really scared about that. I've gotten to the point in my career where I can't afford to stay here. And I know we keep talking about we can't afford to pay more. I don't think you can afford to not pay more. We have to make this a priority, because you're going to lose these exceptional people that create relationships with your kids. Joe is one of the most exceptional bosses. He does an amazing job, and we can't afford to keep him if he doesn't have support. So if we even entertain the idea of not giving him an assistant principal, what are we doing? What are we doing? We have to find a way to support our kids by supporting our staff. It has to be a priority, and I don't know how to do it, and I know your job is really hard, but we have to figure it out. We have to, and we have to do it in a positive way, not rolling eyes at each other and saying, sorry, you just have to, well, you can just say no and move on, just go somewhere else. We can't do that. We have to work together. I don't want this place to fall apart, and I'm really scared that's where we're going, so.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Next item on the agenda is the consent agenda items. In the consent agenda items is the minutes from last meeting, calendar events, average daily attendance, finance report, at-risk program, and building and grounds reports. Does anybody have any questions, any concerns? Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda items?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Jennifer Moreland, seconded by Roger Bridgman, to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Does anybody have any questions, any concerns? Angela?
Lisa?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Tiffany? Jason?
Yes.
7 yes.
Next item in our packet is financial statements and action on the bills. Somebody want to make a motion that we pay the bills this month?
Motion.
Second. Motion by Tammy Palmer, seconded by Tiffany Dickens, to approve the financial statement and action on the December bills as presented.
Does anybody have any questions, any concerns about any of the bills? Angela?
Jennifer?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Sherry?
Yes.
Roger?
Yes.
Tiffany?
Yes.
Lisa?
Yes.
Jason?
Yes.
7 yes.
We will move right into administrative reports, board and committee reports. I think we had a calendar committee. What was talked about?
So we're moving right along on getting a calendar set for the 24-25 school year. I think that everybody that's part of that committee they're working well, they're bringing back ideas from their building. And I think that the calendar committee is really trying to work hard to put those ideas and the majority of those wishes on paper.
Good,
Yeah, it was good. To me, it was a good year.
good. Have there been any other committee meetings that I'm not thinking of right now? Then we will move into the building principals report. Those reports are in your board packets. I'm gonna start at the elementary school because I think I always start at the elementary school. That's where I started, was kindergarten, so. Joe, do you have any amendments, any additions?
Just a couple of things that didn't get on there. We had Mrs. Claus and Santa Claus come to the elementary this week, and it was, I don't know if any of you are personally friends with Mr. Claus, Santa and Mrs. Claus, but they come every year. They come happily and without asking for anything, and every kid in my building was able to take a picture with Santa that Tabby and Molly printed off and were able to send home. So it is not a small thing, and it is a very appreciated thing that no credit is asked for, but it's a big deal to the kids. And just one other that I had nothing to do, is exclusively Mrs. Eaton's brainchild, but I don't know if you guys have seen the sharing libraries on Facebook or anything, but Mrs. Eaton looked up one, talked about some funding with me, and we are slowly going to be implementing, I believe it's posted out right now, I'd have to go take a picture of it for the website, but a really cool thing where Mrs. Eaton can kind of weed out some of her older books and things like that, or if people in the community want to maybe donate some books, that's a free of charge thing, just kind of a take as you need, but any chance that we can to have some free books get in kids' hands is a huge thing to me. And Mrs. Eaton took off running on that, had a little idea, and so props to her for getting, as it's what librarians do, is get books in kids' hands, so we're awfully proud of her. So that's that, nothing else.
That's awesome. Thank you. Does anybody have any questions about any information in the elementary report?